All right, let's talk about the Learn Anything Playbook. This is a really practical guide all about how to take that initial spark of motivation for learning a new skill and actually turn it into real, lasting mastery. The whole idea here is to give you a simple system so you can learn pretty much anything without totally burning out. So you've been there, right? You get super excited to learn something new, you buy the guitar, you download that language app, you sign up for a coding course, and then, life happens. That initial fire just kind of fizzles out. And pretty soon, that guitar is just collecting dust in the corner. It's an incredibly common and honestly frustrating feeling. But here's the big idea from this playbook, and it's a real game changer. What if the problem isn't you? What if it has absolutely nothing to do with your talent or some lack of willpower? We tend to blame ourselves, right? We think, oh, I'm just not disciplined enough. But that is not the real story. The real enemy, the thing that's actually stopping us, is way more predictable than that. And it has a name: friction. This one concept is the absolute core of the entire system we're about to walk through. So, what exactly is friction? Well, think of it as all the messy stuff that just gets in the way. It's that feeling of confusion, like, where do I even start? It's the information overload you get from watching a dozen different tutorials. It's that pressure to be perfect from day one. And of course, it's just the general chaos of a busy life. The playbook says these aren't your failures, they're just normal, predictable signal. So if friction is the enemy, how do you fight it? Well, the first step is to just know what you're working with on any given day. So instead of just blindly jumping in and hoping for the best, this system says you should start every single learning session with a quick, honest pre-flight check. And the tool you use for this check is called the pressure gauge. It's beautifully simple. You just quickly rate yourself from 0 to 3 on 3 key things. First up is energy. How's your physical and mental fuel right now? Second, clarity. Do you know the very next thing you need to do, or is it all a bit foggy? And third, calm. How noisy is your mind at this moment? Okay, now here's where it gets really smart. You take your total score and follow a simple rule. If you score high, a 7 to 9, great, go for it, push ahead with your planned session. If you're in the middle, a 4 to 6, you don't quit, you just shrink the session, make it smaller, more manageable. And if you're down at a 0 to 3, you rest on purpose. And that's the key. Taking a short walk, tidying your desk, that is a productive, strategic move in this system. All right, so once you've done that pre-flight check, you're ready to enter the heart of the playbook. And that is your daily learning loop. It's a simple, repeatable system designed to help you make steady, meaningful progress every single day. This loop has just 5 super simple steps. 1, you set a tiny aim for the day. 2, you begin with a warm start to get some momentum going. 3, you have a drift check to notice when you're getting stuck. 4, you stabilize to get back on track. And 5, you seal your progress to make tomorrow's session even easier. And here's what the whole thing looks like laid out. Just notice how small and actionable each step is designed to be. Your aim is literally just 1 sentence. A warm start is only 2 to 5 minutes. You can see how the output of each step just naturally flows into the next one, creating this smooth, low-friction cycle. Let's focus on that last step for a second, the seal, because it is deceptively powerful. At the end of every session, you write this tiny 3-line seed note: what you did, what you learned, and most importantly, what you'll do next. Look at this coding example. The real magic is in that next line. This is a massive psychological win. It completely eliminates the friction of figuring out where to start tomorrow. You're basically giving your future self a gift, a clear, running start. Okay, so you've got the loop down. But what happens when you inevitably hit a wall during a session? Because you will. Well, the playbook has a system for that too. It's all about learning how to decode those moments when you start to drift off course. So instead of just getting frustrated or giving up, the idea here is to get curious. That feeling of being stuck, it's not a failure. It's just a signal. And you can learn to diagnose it, almost like a doctor diagnosing a symptom. Once you can name the problem, you can treat it. All right, let's look at a really common one, the wall blocker. This is that feeling when the task in front of you just seems massive and intimidating. The fix is called a scope shrink. You don't try to climb the whole wall, you just find the smallest, most visible little brick, and you focus only on that one tiny step. And you can see how the playbook describes this. The language is intentionally simple. The feeling is, task feels too big or scary. The action is, reduce to the smallest visible step. It's not some vague motivational quote, it's a direct, practical instruction. Okay, next diagnosis, the leak blocker. Oh, we all know this one. It's when you're trying to focus, but your attention is just leaking away to other browser tabs, to your email, to your phone. The stabilizer is beautifully simple. It's the one window rule. You just close everything else, you make the next step the only thing you can possibly see. So again, you see the pattern here, right? You diagnose the specific feeling, hey, I keep switching tabs, and then you apply a specific predefined fix. You're essentially building a reliable little toolkit for getting yourself unstuck. And one last one for today, the drain blocker. This is for those days when you're just exhausted, when your pressure gauge was flashing red. Instead of trying to force it or just quitting altogether, the stabilizer is the time box. You commit to just 10 minutes of focused work. After that, you stop, you seal your note, and you're done. And that right there is a win. This one is so critical because it respects your actual energy levels. It adapts the system to your reality, which is the absolute key to being consistent. On a low-energy day, a 10-minute session is infinitely better than a 0-minute session. Okay, so we have the pre-flight check, we've got the daily loop, and we have the tools to get unstuck. So how do you actually put all of this into practice without making that feel like yet another overwhelming project? Well, the playbook gives you a simple 14-day rollout plan. For the first 3 days, your only goal is to do 10 minutes a day and seal a note. That's it. Then for the next few days, you start practicing naming your blockers when they pop up. After a week, you add one tiny challenge. And finally, you review and adjust. It's a really gentle ramp up that's designed to build the habit itself. And that really brings us to the final, most important point. This entire system is built on the power of taking small, consistent steps. It is not about trying to find some magical 4-hour block of free time in your schedule. It's about finding 10 minutes. So the only question left to ask is, what skill will you practice for just 10 minutes today?